I have to tell you, doctor, when you and I spoke, you ended the call with, "I'm going to help you."
It's no secret that a large section of the American population suffers from obesity, as the U.S. has often been the butt of the joke globally. Some statistics even suggest that obesity affects nearly half of the adults in the country. Clearly, the states are facing a health problem, and as such, there are numerous doctors across the country searching for a solution. The U.S. reality television series, My 600-Pound Life, hosted by Dr. Yunan Nazaruddin, widely known as Dr. Now, became one of many such projects raising awareness of the obesity pandemic by attempting to treat some of the most extreme cases. As viewers and fans of My 600-Pound Life would know, many patients have appeared in the series, and while Dr. Nazaruddin tries to help them all, the show often neglects to check in on some patients once the cameras have stopped filming. Penny Saeger was one of the many patients to appear in My 600-Pound Life, but since the documentation of her treatment ended, fans have heard very little about her and how she's been doing since. With so many people curious about Penny's current well-being, and with the show continuing its mission, we took it upon ourselves to check up on Penny and see how she's been progressing. As we dive into Saeger's life and progress since My 600-Pound Life, we will be taking a look at the series, discussing the standard premise of the show, and maybe even revealing a few secrets the producers and Dr. Now perhaps wouldn't want viewers to know. This will include mentioning the risks Dr. Now often undertakes, as well as a malpractice lawsuit he's avoided. We'll be taking a look at who Penny Saeger is, and we'll revisit her journey on My 600-Pound Life before finally discussing her life since becoming a star of the reality television series, detailing her progress of attempting to overcome her obesity, how she unfortunately caused a lot of upset among the show's viewers, and we'll also be addressing the rumors surrounding her death. Originally intended as a 4-part mini-documentary series, My 600-Pound Life was met with such popular reception among TLC audiences that it developed into a full-fledged series, now going into its 11th season. The show debuted in 2012, and since its rapid rise in popularity, has inspired the creation of 2 spin-off shows. One such series, My 600-Pound Life, Where Are They Now?, simply follows up on patients who previously appeared in the original series, keeping viewers informed on how they're progressing. However, the series tends to be selective about who makes a reappearance, often neglecting the unsuccessful patients who fail to continue showing positive results. The other series, Skin Tight, takes a look at the struggles following weight loss as patients deal with the aftermath of excess skin. The show stars Dr. Now along with a handful of other surgeons, as he also treats patients for skin removal surgery. Typically, the 2-hour-long episodes of My 600-Pound Life document the journey of morbidly obese patients taken into the care of Dr. Now, following their progress as they attempt to lose weight, and once they qualify, undergo bariatric surgery, which would normally assist in the patient's continued weight loss, as well as improving their general health, and is usually performed by Dr. Now. Since the beginning of the show, a long list of patients have appeared before the cameras, documenting their difficulties and victories. Some patients get to share their success stories in front of Dr. Now's cameras, while others have not quite been as fortunate. Sadly, an estimated 13 patients, all of whom were formerly in Dr. Now's care, have passed away due to health problems or emotional difficulties rising from their obesity. 2 of these unfortunate cases have been published in this series, proving that My 600-Pound Life does not make light of the health implications associated with obesity. While the show and Dr. Now do their best to aid patients following a seemingly friendly premise, not everything about the show is quite as charitable as the cameras might make it out to be. Of course, tears have been shed on camera, and many of the patient stories are heartbreaking. But it's when the cameras stop filming that things often take a turn into a darker corner. One of the secrets that Dr. Now would surely not want his fans to know is that he'd faced a malpractice lawsuit long before the filming of My 600-Pound Life had begun. Unfortunately, the details of the case are somewhat vague, though it's publicly known that the complaint was filed by a previous patient known as Michelle Clark. It should be noted that Clark didn't appear in the show, and few details can be found about Michelle. But according to Clark, Dr. Now left a surgical tube inside her following surgery that he performed on her, which remained inside for 22 months before being discovered. Unfortunately, the tube caused damage to Miss Clark's colon, and during that whole time, she lived in great discomfort. It was later reported in 2013 that Michelle dropped the case against Dr. Now, who continued to proclaim his innocence throughout the whole ordeal. Speculation rose that suggested Dr. Now and Miss Clark might have settled the dispute out of court. However, no evidence exists to confirm the speculative reports published by gossip outlets. It might even be possible that Dr. Now successfully defended himself, as he would go on to say during several interviews and being questioned about the lawsuit that the removal of the tube was the responsibility of the anesthesiologist. Whether at fault or not, a malpractice suit against any doctor would be enough to tarnish their reputation. But considering that Dr. Now takes relatively serious risks on my 600-pound life, claims against him might not be too far-fetched. Although argued that the surgical procedures Dr. Now performs are for the benefit of his patients, he often performs them at the risk of seriously harming his patients, although often as a last resort anyway. In order to perform any kind of bariatric surgery, the patient in question is required to be below a certain weight, which ranges to an average of 450 pounds. As part of the premise of the show, since most of the patients appearing on the series weigh 600 pounds or more, they have to lose anything to 100 pounds, i.e. 10% of their initial weight, so proving to Dr. Now that they are serious about their weight loss journey. While it might only be a small difference from the required weight, performing bariatric surgery on a patient who does not qualify can hold serious implications. One of the difficulties that could arise during surgery is the possibility of heart failure. But even if the surgery goes well, it can still result in potential harmful after effects. In fact, one of Dr. Now's patients, Lupe Samano, who appeared in the 4th season in 2016, suffered severe hip pain following her surgery and appearance in My 600-Pound Life. However, Lupe was not upset about it, as she was grateful for Dr. Now's assistance. Unfortunately, due to her hip pain, Lupe is still virtually bedridden and is unable to be as active as she wants to be, though continuing her journey to a healthier and slimmer lifestyle. Penny Saeger, who makes her residence in Elkton, Maryland, became a patient in My 600-Pound Life in 2014 during the filming of Season 2, and at that time was a 45-year-old housewife in desperate need of Dr. Now's assistance. As she appeared in the show, Penny shared her heartbreaking story in front of the camera, recounting her journey through life and how she became morbidly obese. Penny had a difficult childhood, according to her, mostly credited to her abusive and drunk father, and as a result of the difficulties she faced, Penny turned to food as a coping method. Penny's comfort eating habits would gradually see her pick up a lot of weight over the years, and by the time she married her husband Edgar and later gave birth to her only child, a son named Liam, she weighed 630 pounds. Due to her large stature, Penny became bedridden and incapable of doing even the simplest tasks without the help of her caretaker, a role adopted by her husband. The house was left in Edgar's care, as were the duties concerned with raising their child. Whenever Penny needed to use the restroom, Edgar would be there to help. Tired of how life was going, Penny reached out to Dr. Now and the producers of My 600-Pound Life, and in due time was invited to appear in the show. However, little would Dr. Now realize that he would yet again be coming face to face with a stubborn person. Many might remember Henry Foote, one of the most difficult patients Dr. Now had to deal with. But like him, Penny was extremely reluctant to listen to Dr. Now. In fact, when Penny had to visit Dr. Now for examinations, she refused to walk unaided and was taken to his office by ambulance. Nonetheless, when she began her journey on My 600-Pound Life, Penny seemed eager to follow the doctor's orders. Sadly, it was because she had no other choice. Due to already existing health complications, Penny was placed under a strict diet and received instructions to undertake a tough exercise schedule. Unfortunately, Saeger didn't quite follow Dr. Now's instructions, and throughout her initial course to lose weight, she dropped only 40 pounds. Penny didn't stay on the strict diet and neglected to do many of the exercises she was prescribed. Regardless, she requested that Dr. Now perform bariatric surgery, hoping that it would progress her weight loss. Initially, Dr. Now was reluctant to go through with the procedure, but because Penny dropped at least 40 pounds, he agreed to her request. However, he remained skeptical and adamantly accused her of sneaking food into her room. Still, the surgery went smoothly and succeeded miraculously without any complications or difficulties. Following the operation, Penny remained stubborn, not exercising nor following a strict diet. And when her evaluation came post-surgery, it was revealed that she'd gained 5 pounds, instead of continuing her weight loss journey. This prompted a serious discussion with Dr. Now, outlining the numerous implications obesity can have on her health, all of which can be fatal. Despite the seriousness of how Dr. Now treated Penny, she continued not complying with his instructions and eventually decided to leave My 600-Pound Life and temporarily disappeared from mainstream media, seldom updating her social media presence. Because of this, rumors began swirling, suggesting that the worst had happened to her, and many people believed that she'd passed away. Fortunately, these rumors were quickly shut down by the TLC network, stating that she was still very much alive, but sadly hadn't made any improvements in her condition and weight loss. Concerning Penny's whereabouts, most reports say that she's still living in Maryland with her husband Edgar and her son Liam, and the family seems to be content with life. To further confirm that she's still alive, Penny resurfaced on Facebook in 2019, posting a picture as she played with her cat. Unfortunately, as can be observed from Penny's post, she was still bedridden and didn't show any signs of further progress. Fans responded by sharing comments of hopeful messages, with some expressing their disappointment, stating how it saddened them to see her still stuck in bed. No further reports have since surfaced on Penny's whereabouts, but it's safe to assume that she's still alive, though might not be as healthy as she hoped to become when she appeared on My 600-Pound Life. Liam has grown up, and through the years, it seems that Penny's husband Edgar has remained by her side, still professing his love and support for his wife. Continuation of this series seems likely, at least for the positive reasons identified, and possibly the spin-off series, which may include Penny, even if only as an example of relative failure of Dr. Now's program in convincing patients of the seriousness of their situation. Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpick these videos which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question in the comments below. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.